Good morning. Welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. Today we're in the garden, but we're starting in the basement. We're going to talk about sweet potatoes. So I'm going to plant some sweet potatoes today, but I have several different stages here, and I wanted to show you the process of creating sweet potato slips. Sweet potatoes are not like white potatoes, not like Irish potatoes. You don't just stick some potatoes in the ground and then get sweet potatoes. You create slips. And a slip is a tiny little plant. So your first start for sweet potatoes is to just grab one you got from the market. I'm going to say probably not the grocery store unless you're buying in the organic section. I got these at a farm market up in Ellijay, Georgia. So basically what you do is you get a jar of water, you stick toothpicks in or some kind of sticks. Sometimes I have skewers and I use those, and you submerge it halfway into the water. It needs plenty of warmth and light. I put it in my grow box on a heat pad, and then you wait. It takes quite a bit of time. I put these in. I put my first ones in February. I put the second ones in just a couple weeks ago. These have been here a couple weeks. They're really not doing much yet. If you look on the bottom, they're getting a little fuzzy, but not much. It takes a while. After about a month, you get this. And if you'll see, little plants are growing out. There's really no way that I know, somebody else probably does know, which side goes up. If you put it in one way, the slips come up the top. Sometimes if you turn it the other way, they grow up from the bottom. Either way, you'll get the slips. Let me adjust just a little. So if you see, these are growing. When they get that size, I break them off and stick them down into a little pot of very moist soil. What you see here is a nice, healthy sweet potato slip. This whole process has taken about 10 weeks. A little bit longer than if you were starting, say, tomatoes or peppers. But you'll get maybe 15 or 20 slips from each potato. You plant them in your garden about a foot and a half apart, so you can get an idea of how many that you need. The last time we did this, from 6 sweet potatoes, I got about 60 pounds. And later on in the season, when we harvest, I will show you how to cure them. For now, though, you see the steps that I've taken up to being ready to plant. See you shortly in the garden. Well, here we are now out in the garden, and I'm my own camera person today, so I'm not going to be able to show you my smiley face, but I am going to be able to show you the soil and the potatoes, and that's what we're really here for anyway. So if I move out of the frame, I'm sorry. You may see me moving things around because I want you to see what I'm doing. Any discussion that I ever have with anybody about planting, I always start it with discussing the soil. I've already planted one sweet potato here. This soil is a mixture that we have worked on for many years. This particular bed is 10 feet long, 4 feet across, 16 inches high. The soil that's in here, the basis of the soil that's in here has been in here several years. We started with a mixture of topsoil, mushroom compost, composted cow manure. We have added over the years, every year, several different layers of mulch. We've added more compost. Every year we top it off with that same mixture of topsoil, mushroom compost, and composted cow manure. We have it tested periodically. We know that what's in here is sufficient to grow what we need. We don't add a lot of fertilizer. We will fertilize if we need to, if something's having problem growing, but we don't just throw fertilizer on it just because that's the thing to do. We have occasionally had to lime over the years, but you can tell that with a soil test. So I have here the sweet potatoes that you saw me starting in the basement. This is one slip. I've already planted one. They're at different stages. It doesn't really matter. It takes quite a while to grow sweet potatoes. This is April. I probably won't harvest these until August. They'll get a little flower a little bit later. Maybe not. Sometimes they don't. But you'll start to see the plants die off later in the season. And at that time, you cut them off and you dig up your potatoes. And when I do that this year, I'll try to video it for you, because I also want to show you how to cure them. Once you have the sweet potatoes, you don't just eat them. You put them somewhere dark, cover them, let them dry, let the sugars concentrate, and you get that wonderful sweet potato flavor. So here is how we plant the sweet potatoes. Not a whole lot to it. I dig a hole about the depth of the pot. These are not like tomatoes. We don't bury them deep. We just plant them. They will vine. This bed will look like a solid green vine when the sweet potatoes are ready to harvest, or right before they're ready to harvest. They'll grow huge and they're beautiful. Some people use sweet potato plants as ornamentals. I'm putting some water into this soil, into this hole. It doesn't really need it. We've had plenty of rain. We've actually had way too much rain. And you can see that this soil is not mud. It's still friable. That's because you have excellent drainage in a raised bed. And you could see I actually could plant these potatoes without a tool. You could dig all the way down because this soil is like butter. It's soft. You can move through it. Has not been tilled in 5 years. So I have wet this potato. I've loosened it. Now, I want you particularly to look at the root system. This was one of those little slips that I just broke off the sweet potato and stuck down in this pot. I had the pot very moist, full of moist soil. I stuck the little plant that I broke off the sweet potato down into it, and you see how it's grown. All I have to do now is put it in here at soil level, maybe just a little bit above soil level, but not much, and cover it. Now this isn't a bed where beans were grown last year. This bed is full of nitrogen. It's full of all nutrients really, because we've rotated crops, added plenty of organic matter, and nurtured the soil between seasons. We didn't let it sit with nothing in it. There was something in it all the time, even if it was just some bean roots that we've left in there. When I get all of these planted, I will mulch around them with pine needles, pine straw, according to the part of the country you're in. We call it pine straw. Pine straw has an allelopathic effect, meaning that it will deter the germination of seeds. That means it will deter the germination of weed seeds. And as you see, there are really no weeds in here now. And I'd like for there not to be. But you need to hold in mind then that if you plant seeds and you mulch with pine straw, your seeds probably won't germinate. So I never use it unless I'm putting it on already established plants. But we will mulch it, and that will hold in the moisture, kind of level out the temperatures from colds to high. It still might be just a tad cool for sweet potatoes, but my nights are staying above 50, and my days are always above 60 right now. Sweet potatoes actually need a little more heat than most things. It's difficult to grow them in the northern zones. I'm in Georgia, 7A, so we usually have really good luck with sweet potatoes. That's the process. I hope you, if you decide to grow some, you remember, don't buy grocery store sweet potatoes. Go to a market, buy some that have not been sprayed with a sprouting deterrent. They will probably grow, but they won't grow as well as buying organic sweet potatoes or going to a farmer's market and buying some that have not been sprayed. If you've never tried a sweet potato baked in the oven and cut open with some butter and a little bit of cinnamon, that's a treat you must try, and I hope that you can start by growing some of your own. Thank you for joining us on Debbie's Back Porch.